of analysis. Okay, so Magic of Thinking Big is a very famous book on self development. So let's get started. And what we will cover today is the before we get into the first chapter. So we'll discuss about the preface a bit. Okay, so the preface, the author talks about why is this book. Okay, it talks about the thousands of books will be published this year. Why one more book on thinking about thinking or thought process and thinking big, so he said, permit me to give you just a little background. Several years ago, I witnessed an exceptionally impressive sales meeting. The vice president in charge of marketing for this company was tremendously excited. He wanted to drive home a point he had with him on that platform. The leading representative in the organization, a very ordinary looking fellow who earned in the year just ended just a little under $60,000. The earnings of other representatives averaged $12,000. The executive challenged the group. Here is what he said: I want you to take a good look at Henry. Look at him. Now, what's Harry got? Now, what's Harry got that the rest of you haven't? So that means he's asking that what he has got, then the rest of the people haven't. Harry earned 5 times the average, but it's Harry 5 times smarter? No, not according to our personal tests. So that means they did the personal test. Uh, Not our personal test, I checked. They show he is about average in that department. So that now here comes, the author starts with, talking about the Harry, why he made 5 times more than other people. Okay, and he says that he's not smarter, and he says that, and did Harry work 5 times harder than you fellows? No, not according to the reports. In fact, he took more time off than most of you. Okay, so now here is the comparison. A lot of time we think about someone is succeeding because that person has got high IQ, or that person is much smarter than me. So it says that it's not the case. And then the author elaborates: did Harry have a better territory? Again, I've got to say no. The accounts averaged about the same. So that means all the sales representatives have been given similar kind of a territories. Okay, it's an average one. Did Harry have more education? Better health? Again, no. Harry is about as average an average guy could be, except for one thing. Okay, here comes the one thing. The difference between Harry and the rest of you, said the vice president. The difference is that Harry thought 5 times bigger. Here comes the difference. So when your thought process is much bigger, so that means you think bigger, you accomplish bigger things. It's not the smartness what you have or how smarter you are, but how big you think. Then he says, then the executive proceeded to show that success is a better mind, not so much by the size of one's brain as it is by the size of one's thinking. This was an intriguing thought, and it stayed with me. The more I observed, the more people I talked with, the deeper I dug into what's really behind success. The clearer dug into what's really behind the success, the clearer was the answer. Case history after case history prove that the size of a bank account, the size of happiness accounts, and the size of one's general satisfaction accounts is dependent on the size of one's thinking. That's a profound statement. size of one's happiness. Okay, so that means the happiness, not only your accomplishments in life in terms of wealth or your career success. um, it talks about size of bank account. That means your success in wealth, size of your happiness, size of one's general satisfaction of satisfaction accounts is dependent on the size of one's thinking. There is magic in thinking big. If thinking big accomplishes so much, this is quite important. If thinking big accomplishes so much, why doesn't everyone think that way? I have been asked that question many times. Here, I believe, is the answer. All of us, more than we recognize, are products of the thinking around us. And much of this thinking is little, not big. Okay. So, why do we think small? That's the author talks about, is because of our surroundings. Okay. We are the product of the thinking around us. So, that means you are influenced by people who associate with. All around you is an environment that is trying to tug you, trying to pull you down. Second class street. Okay, so pull you down, why? That's second class street. You are told almost daily that there are too many chiefs, not enough Indians. Okay, now that's an American saying, too many chiefs but not enough Indians. In other words, that opportunities that opportunities lead no longer exist. That means, in other words, that opportunities to lead no longer exist. That there is a surplus of chiefs to be content to be a little guy. But this too many chiefs idea simply doesn't square with the truth. Leading people in all occupations, leading people in all occupations will tell you, as they have told me, that the trouble is there are too many Indians and not nearly enough chiefs. Okay? It's not too many chiefs. The trouble is there are too many Indians, not nearly enough chiefs. That means the people who lead, who go bigger, there are not too many. This petty environment says other things too. It tells you whatever will be. That your destiny is outside your control, that fate is in complete control of you. Okay, destiny and fate, so quite a lot of time we get into that kind of a thought process. So forget those dreams, forget that finer home, forget that special college for the children, forget the better life. Be resigned, lie down and wait to die. And who hasn't heard the statement that success isn't worth the price? As if you have to sell your soul, your family life, your conscience, your set of values to reach the top. But in truth, success doesn't demand a price. Every step forward pays a dividend. So now this is a very important statement here, that a lot of us have that thought process. Success isn't worth the price, so that means relax and chill. You won't live forever. Whatever you have, just live with it or be happy with it. So that means, as if in pursuit of happiness, that means if you try things and you'll be unhappy. Probably that's not the case. When you have a dream, when you want to accomplish things in life, you strive for your best. I think that is when the real happiness comes. So the success isn't worth the price probably is for the people who are kind of, they don't want to do anything. They don't want to succeed in life. They don't want to stress themselves. So as the author says that as if you have to sell your soul, your family life, your conscience, your set of values to reach the top. So that means success doesn't require these, as we think. In truth, success doesn't demand a price. Okay, every step forward pays a dividend. That's a very profound statement. Every step forward pays a dividend. Okay, this environment also tells us that there is too much competition for the top spots in life. But is there? A personnel selection executive told me that he receives 50 to 250 times as many applicants for jobs that pays $10,000 per year as for jobs that pay $50,000 a year. Now, mind you, so this book was written, when was it? So it was in 1959. So can you imagine? So old book, and that's where the figures are a bit out. Hasn't been inflation adjusted since 1959. Probably, and right now, so it would say that okay, the jobs are that pays probably 50, $60,000. Um, there are 50 times or 250 times more applications you get than for the jobs which pays you $200,000 per year. Okay, this is to say that there is at least 50 times as much competition for jobs on second class street as for jobs on first class avenue. First class avenue, USA, is a short, uncrowded street. Again, that's for American author that talks about USA. That's you can take it in perspective in any country. So there are countless vacancies waiting there for people like you who dare to dream big. The basic principles and concepts supporting the magic of thinking big comes from the highest pedigree sources, the very finest and biggest thinking minds yet to live on planet Earth. Minds like Prophet David, who wrote, "As one thinketh in his heart, so is he." Minds such as Emerson, who said, "Great men are those who see that thoughts rule the world." Minds like Milton, who in Paradise Lost wrote, "The mind is its own place and in itself can make a heaven of hell or hell of heaven." Amazingly, perceptive perceptive minds like Shakespeare, who observed, "There is nothing either good or bad except that thinking makes it so." Okay, so that means it's all about thinking, or the book talks about magic of thinking big. All right, so let me attach it here. Okay, so um so we will now go to the last page for today. But there, where does the proof come from? How do we know the master thinkers were right? Fair question. The proof comes from the lives of the select people around us who, through through winning success, achievement, and happiness, prove that thinking big does work magic. The simple steps we have set down here are not untested theories. They are not one man's guesses and opinions. They are proven approaches to life situations, and they are universally applicable steps that work like magic. That you are reading this page proves you are interested in larger success. You want to fulfill your desires. You want to enjoy a fine standard of living. You want this life to deliver to you all the good things you deserve. Being interested in success is a wonderful quality. So that means not everyone, not all your friends and family members would be interested to succeed, will think about success, will think about stretching themselves. Okay, so that means if you are thinking, if you are just attending this self-development club, the book club, so that means you are interested in growing and developing yourself and taking yourself through the pain of change. Okay, now you have another admirable quality. The author talks about the people who are reading this book, or who are interested in self growth. The fact that you are holding this book in your hand shows you have the intelligence to look for tools that will help take you where you want to go. So that means a lot of people feel lost. Okay, how do I develop myself? How do I grow myself? Okay, in building anything, automobiles, bridges, missiles, we need tools. Many people, in their attempt to build a successful life, forget there are tools to help them. So that's very profound. Okay, so they get so busy. I read somewhere that says that you ponder upon, or you think so much about your worries in life, that you forget that you should be looking for solution to those worries or your problems. Okay, but you always think about the problems. Okay, many people in their attempt to build successful life forget there are tools to help them. You have not forgotten. Okay, you have then the two basic qualities needed to realize a real profit from this book. That means a desire for greater success, and the intelligence to select a tool to help you realize the desire. Think big and you will live big. You will live big in happiness. You will live big in accomplishment, big in income, big in friends, big in respect. Enough for the promise. Start now, right now, to discover how to make your thinking make magic for you. Start out with this thought of the great philosopher Disraeli: life is too short to be little. That's quite profound, isn't it? All righty. So we will conclude here for today. Amazing book, guys. So we'll continue reading this book and analyzing this book and taking out some notes and points. So what do we realize? What is the takeaway from today's lesson? Is thinking. Okay, not many people thinking big, and that is the very minority of people, or very few people think bigger. Whatever you do, it talks about thinking big in everything you do. Talks about in jobs, there are more application, or much more application applicants for people who for positions which pay lesser than the applicants which for the positions which pay more. Okay, because they don't think, or people don't think that they are worth the higher. And where is that thinking come from? Okay, because what is the harm? Because we should think big and you'll accomplish big. Now the author talks about that thought process of you not thinking big is it comes from your um, surroundings, the thoughts around you. Okay, who you are surrounded with. Okay, the people are your friends, family members, relatives, the media. So they're all around you, are forcing you to become to be mediocre. Okay, so, and the book talks about and thinks about stretches you to think bigger. All right, so with that,